Today we continue with our class, Women's Guide to Practical Halachah. And we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. And the topic is poverty. Above we discuss the question of how it is that in our days, that those who habitually speak Lashon Hara are not afflicted with tzaras. Another answer to this is found in Sefer Davar Kiddusha, who cites Sefer Hakaneh. Okay. The suffering of poverty take place of tzaras, for by being dependent upon others for survival, the poor man becomes rid of any arrogance, a prime cause of Lashon Hara. Moreover, the poor man is actually afraid to speak disparagingly of others, lest they learn of his remarks and cease to assist him. So very interesting. So let's read from the beginning. We're going to explain what it says here. So one more time, above we discussed the question of how it is that in our days, those who speak Lashon Hara are not afflicted by tzara. So we spend I don't know how many days discussing all of these details of suffering, all of the people that had to go beyond the camp limit and stay there, or beyond the city limit and stay there in solitude, and then coin would come to them. They're not allowed to go to people. Coin would come and after 7 days and check up on them. So it's very big suffering. So, but today people speak Lashon Hara, and there is no problem. So, right? There is no tzaras. So one of the explanations, the most important explanation that we learned last week, I think, that there is no way to cure from tzaras. Why? Because there is no sacrifices, no temple. That's the only reason. Okay, so what's going on today? The suffering of poverty take place of tzaras. So basically, a person who speaks Lashon Hara, he or she loses their parnasah, their livelihood. Very interesting, right? For being dependent upon others for survival, the poor man becomes rid of any arrogance. So for poor man who now he needs the job, he needs this favor and that favor, so he would be very, very careful not to speak disparagingly about anybody, because he does not know maybe this person is going to stop helping me. Very interesting. The prime reason of Lashon Hara is arrogance. So meaning what? That person thinks that he's better than everybody else, and he's very judgmental and this and that, and he has to tell everybody that what the other person told him or said about him or about her and stuff like that. That's comes from arrogance. Moreover, the poor man is actually afraid of speak disparagingly of others, lest they learn of his remark and cease to assist him. So now he start depending on everybody. Tikkun Zohar as well states that this sin can lead to poverty. Maybe yes, maybe no, but it can. So one of the things a person say, I don't know what happened. So right, people have different issues in their life. So if you don't know what happened, and you're not big Torah learner, so you go to Talmid Chacham, you go to somebody God-fearing and ask him, and this person would most likely know, right, based on the symptoms, whatever you describe, what was the problem. Of course, he's going to ask you many questions, but it's many times it's very discernible what's going on. Therefore, one who seeks to avoid material strain should be zealous to Shmiras Haloshon. So if you want to keep your money, hard-earned money, so watch your tongue. Stop here. All right. So we continue with our topic. Topic is just remind us is Yichud, right? And Yichud we said is what? Is the seclusion of Jewish men and Jewish women together. Okay. So there is we said there is some exception, right? So a session would be right, parents and children. So a father can be secluded with his daughters, with his sister, with his mother, with his wife, of course, right? Okay. And okay, continue. I'm not going to repeat what we said last time. Okay, so Yichud between Jew and non-Jew is forbidden, but it's rabbinically. So we had a question in a different class, so they say it's not biblical. Okay, it's not biblical, but it's still forbidden. I mean, it does not change anything. Okay, so let's quickly just read. This can be relevant to a man at home with a cleaning help, or at work with a fellow employee. Right? So maybe when he's a doctor and there is a nurse or a secretary, that would be an issue. There is dispute between among the poskim, where a non-Jewish woman being married upgraded to the prohibition Torah law status. Okay, so the seclusion of the Jewish woman and a non-Jewish man is also prohibited. Okay. All right. So new material. Public places. If man is alone with a woman, but the door is open to the area where people can pass by at any time, then it is not considered a Yichud situation and is therefore permitted. This is relevant when the room opens to the street, hallway, or any other public area. If the door is opened, but it is to a place where people do not expect it to pass, but by within the next 5 minutes, this is still prohibited. Sorry. One must bear in mind that the time of the day plays major role in whether the particular situation constitutes Yichud. Just one second. I want to see if we're going to see, let's say, about cars, but it's also, I'm not sure, maybe yes, it also applies to giving somebody a lift, especially when it's at night, right? So not allowed. Okay, so let's see. This paragraph from the beginning, and we're going to explain. If man is alone with a woman, but the door is open to an area where can pass by at any time, then it is not considered a Yichud situation and therefore is permitted. I guess maybe some kind of office when people just walk in, like drop by, I don't know, something, right? Or store. Okay, so that would be no problem, right? You never know when somebody is going to come in. Okay. This is relevant when the room opens to the street, so like to some public area, meaning to the street, meaning that anybody can come in, right? Hallways or other public area. Okay. If the door is open, but to the place where people do not expect it to pass by within the next 5 minutes, maybe some like on the back of the store or the office, right? So people, I mean, of course there are maybe delivery people, maybe yes, maybe no, but if nobody would come in next 5 minutes, that's it. So that's as we said, that's how much the whole procedure takes. This is still forbidden. So if it's more than 5 minutes, and like they know for sure, like in an example that I give, this delivery people, right? So maybe for 1 hour it's going to be no delivery. Like where I used to work, we had the minyan, and this minyan was behind the stores, like in delivery area. So they gave us some some room. It was not a room. It was like basically in the hallway. And many times when we pray mincha there were no people, no delivery, or sometimes maybe one delivery, maybe in a few weeks. That's it. So that's kind of situation, right? And in many stores the door were open to the back, right, to the hall where we're praying. Okay, so that's this kind of situation. One must bear in mind that at the time of the day plays major role, and we're going to discuss what time of the day, in whether the particular situation constitutes Yichud. Okay, so we'll see, especially in the night when it's not so visible what's going on. So that's of course it's much stricter. The poskim discuss at length situation when the door is closed but unlocked. The final ruling is that it depended on whether or not people would enter within the next 5 minutes unannounced. If they would, then it is permitted, since that is dependent on committing an avera, and thus is not considered yichud. Okay, so let's try to understand. So in some places, like for example, like medical office. So you go to the medical office, right? Let's say it's down the hall, and the door is open but closed. The door is closed, but anyway you're going to try to open it. Maybe it's not locked, right? So that's the kind of situation we're talking about here. So one more time, the poskim discuss at length the situation when the door is closed but unlocked. So how is it probable that people are going to try to come in if the door is closed, basically? The final ruling is that it depends on whether or not people would enter within the next 5 minutes. So 5 minutes. So 5 minutes. It's pretty like big traffic, right? People going back and forth. 5 minutes, right? Would enter unannounced. So it's okay. If they would, then it is permitted, since there is the deterrent to for permitting an aware committing. I'm sorry. For this is deterrent for committing an avera, right? So meaning they're not going to do avera as a sin, because why? Because maybe somebody is going to come, so thus it is not considered yichud. Okay, continue. A woman who is being interviewed by a man, or who visiting a male doctor, must bear in mind that these halachas. It is preferable for a door to be left ajar, right? If not, secretaries and nurses should be allowed to walk in at any moment. Ideally, the husband should accompany his wife to the appointment to prevent any question of yichud. All things being equal, poskim strongly suggest that a woman choose a female doctor, as this avoids many serious halachic issues. Okay, so let's discuss this part. So a woman who is being interviewed by a man. So that's the problem. Usually they close the door, right, when there's an interview, and they ask for nobody to come into and not to interrupt. That's the issue, right? A woman who is being interviewed by a man, or who is visiting a male doctor, must bear in mind these halachas. So we always recommend and tell women not to go to the male doctor. Right? Today there are so many female doctors, so many, and they I mean, unless this is the doctor. So the exception would be he's the biggest specialist in his field, and he's the only one, and there is no woman that is even close. But I don't know, so far, like for all the students that ask us to find for them a doctor, we were able to find, especially where I live, there is several organizations, right, kosher organization, and they actually give free advice. They're not, I mean, maybe some of them like retired medical professionals, I guess. I don't know these people, but run by a rabbi, of course, supervised by him, and you describe what doctor, what problem do you have, and they would suggest you a kosher doctor for a man or for a woman. We will always call them, and they always give the top doctor, the top. Okay, it's very interesting. Okay, but and always they have female doctors for my wife, like always, like very, very highly professional. Okay, so unless, as we said, there is exception that he's some kind of like star in his field. Okay, continue. It is preferable for a door to be left ajar. So I mean, if ajar, but always this the nurses come in, and I'm not sure if our medical professional is there, But what he told me when he's working, our dear friend, he's working in what is it, emergency room, and when a doctor has to, or even a nurse has to like examine a woman, so they usually go like, and if it's male, a nurse, so they have to go in pairs. So it's never alone, never alone. That's actually the policy of the hospital, right? So otherwise they would sue them and nobody needs the headache, but it's actually halacha. Okay. Right? Or nurses can be allowed to come in and go out. If not, secretaries or nurses should be allowed to walk in at any moment. Okay. And that's usually the case. And sometimes they knock, sometimes they don't knock, and they just come in. Ideally, a husband should accompany his wife to the appointment to prevent any questions of yichud. Okay. All things being equal, Poskim strongly suggest that a woman chose a female doctor as to avoid many serious halakhic issues. Okay, so that's what we said. It's proper for a woman to find a female doctor, and even if maybe wait as long, I mean, that depends on where exactly you live. Maybe in some countries there are not so many female doctors, but I mean, as a specialist, some kind of specialist. But it's better to wait and go to female doctor than to male. Okay. Okay. Especially when you need to undress. So if it's for dentists, I guess it's not a big deal, but still. Okay. Continue. The laws of open doors permitting yichud apply to the seclusion with the non-Jews as well. So one more time, the laws of open doors permitting yichud apply to seclusion with non-Jews as well, meaning that the door is open and anybody can come in. So basically there is doesn't matter it's a Jew or not Jew, the only difference, so one is prohibited by biblical law, one is by rabbinical law, so it's basically it's still prohibited. Okay, continue. However, in case where there are two individuals have casual relationship with each other, called libo, gazba, many poskim maintain that it does not help to have the door open. Since they are familiar with each other, an open door may not deter them from doing an aveira. Example include a man with his daughter-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, niece, aunt, cousin, neighbor, fellow employee. Okay, let's read. And unfortunately, many people ignore these halachas and they rely on themselves too much, and does not many times does not end up very well for them and for the whole family, for everybody around them, because they ignore these halachas. So one more time, and we're going to explain. However, in the case when there are two individuals who have casual relationships, so it's not that they know each other, they're friendly, very friendly. So all of this, what we said before, we said that like not so casual relationship, right? Which is other called libo bas ba. Many poskim maintain that it does not help to have the door open, meaning somebody just because the door open and maybe somebody is going to come in the next 5 minutes, maybe not. So you need somebody like there, like extra person basically. I mean, we did not say that, but we're going to say. Since they are familiar with each other, an open door may not deter them from doing aveira. Okay, so what if the door is open? Crazy people. So example include a man with his daughter-in-law, and that's unfortunately happened not once. I mean, even from my experience, it's very, very sad what happened. Of course, the whole family went on fire and crazy, right? Man with his daughter-in-law, sister-in-law, that's also mother-in-law. Even Torah said, we learn in the parasha that all of the curses that Hashem sent to people who have this relationship does not, unfortunately, does not stop everybody, right? Niece, aunt, cousin, neighbor, or fellow employee. If room where a man and woman alone has a window, that people constantly passing by and can see through. There is the shades are open, and there is no sun glare. Okay, this avoid the situation of yichud. So basically, if it's on the first floor, and I guess very low, there is some first floor like it's above the lobby, so it's very high. But here it's like very very low, so you can see from the street what is going on inside. Like sometimes in the banks, right? In the banks they have this glass from almost from the floor to the top. So I'm not sure how this privacy works with the computers. I don't know, but you can see from the street everything that's going on, what's going on there. Not in a cubicles. That's another issue, but many things you can see. Okay, so if you can see everything, like the whole room, from the outside, from the window, so it would not be considered seclusion. Next one. Any questions before we continue on what we said?
Rabbi.
Go ahead.
So last week when we were going over this class, it was about this topic, and and then also Rabbi Reuven also went over on Wednesday about Pashana. So, really? And then I had a situation happen last week. And it had to do with this law, because I was going into apartments to relight kitchen appliances because we were doing a gas work there. Mm-hmm. And I was going inside apartment buildings, and there was this one specific apartment building where there was a little girl alone, but she didn't tell me she was alone. So I had to ask her, I'm like, are you someone in there? And she said, yeah. And then when I went in, there was no one in there. I was like, hey, is there anyone in here? Mm-hmm. She's like, no. I'm like, okay, you got to leave the door open and stay all the way in the front door. Yes. And I'm going to just light everything, and then we're going to switch places. Because I was like, oh, I don't want... This came to mind. So I was like, oh my goodness, Baruch Hashem, I learned about this.
That's very improper, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's very improper for you to be inside and the little girl there. Yeah, but when she's standing outside of the door while you're exactly as you did, while you're doing the work inside, there is that's the only permissible way, basically. So like everybody see that she's out, passing by.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Harry.
Yes, you see how it's all come together, and that's when we started this class. Even though I said to everybody it's halachas for women, but it's applied to men as well. It's like most of these halachas are applied to men. Okay. Any other questions before we continue? Yes, go ahead.
What would be the leniencies of like a religious Jew that would like to be a cab driver? Can he be like a cab driver if there's like a thick glass in between the front seat and the back seat?
That's a good question. So I would say it's not like at night. It's not going to work that well. Like during the days maybe, because that's exactly the situation as we discuss here, right? That everybody can see what's going on in a cab, right? So everybody can see you. You're out there. Usually you drive in public areas, but at night I would say no. You understand? And we actually learn in our medical class halachas pertaining to the this was the ambulance drivers, when they have to come, and of course there is sick person, but still there is halachas. So halachas there is some leniency because you're saving somebody's life, but still it's not so simple. So and one question was asked, can you drive on a service road or on a highway? So I said no, you have to drive on a highway, right, where everybody can see you. When on a service road, maybe there are not as much light. So, and we know from experience there are many sick people in the world. I'm not talking about the Jews, non-Jews. Jews doesn't matter. That can do many things, and they would not care if somebody is sick, somebody is dying. So unfortunately, okay, that's a good question. You're welcome. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So that means for a cab driver, they're not allowed to tint the windows.
That's another thing. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because if you tint your windows, you can't see anything inside.
Exactly. So we had this situation some time ago. Somebody, we had a guest, right? Then long time ago. Somebody said, and another of our guests said, I'm going to drive this lady. I said, you're not going to drive this lady. You're normal. You're not going to drive. She was single. He was single. So right. So I said, you're not going to drive. Not from my house. I don't want to be part of it. Okay, she wants to get like somebody else maybe to go with her. That's a different story, but that's not what we do. It was late at night, so let her take bus or something. Who needs this headache, basically? Okay. Any other questions before we continue? Okay, no problem. Thank you. So continue then. So now, lock doors. There will be times when the door must be locked for safety reasons. Okay, it is if it is necessary to resolve the Yichud problem, it should be arranged that someone is available to come in unannounced at any time. This person should have a key or a combination to open the door. This serves a deterrent to the seclusion of the men and women. So let's read from the beginning and we try to understand. So what would be the case the door is locked? Like a practical example of the door, you must lock the door for security reason. I don't know. So, okay, let's continue reading and we'll see. There will be times when the door must be locked for safety reason. Okay, so I mean, okay, if it is necessary to resolve the Yichud problem, it should be arranged that someone is available to come in unannounced at any time. So, but come in not hypothetically that the person comes every 7 months, right? So to collect his pay or her pay or whatever, right? It must be like a real probability that this person is going to come at any time. Okay. So because you see, it's some people, as we said many times, they know halacha and they try to look for the way out. So this halacha is actually one of the fences that rabbis built for us and say do not come close, because why? Because you might do a sin, right? That's why. Okay, so a person should have a key or a combination. So combination means that there is like a digital lock. Okay, so meaning that they have your code, whatever, five digit code, so they can come in. Okay, this person should have a key or combination to open the door. Okay, this services as deterrent to the seclusion of the man and woman. Okay, so many because they're going to be nervous and maybe they're not going to do anything. So that should stop them. Therefore, a girl who is babysitting a boy old enough to effect the prohibition of Yichud and feels the door must be locked should make a male neighbor aware of this and be told that he can come at any time. So that's here here's an example. So a girl, let's say, I don't know, she's 12 years old, 13 years old, and she's a babysitter, and the boy is 9 years old. So we said that the problem with Yichud starts with girls from 3 years old and boys from 9 years old. So and 9 years old, I think we're in a place where I live. I think they are not allowed to be at home alone, I think, or up to 9, or I don't know, like legally. So even though I mean he's not a little baby, but you need a babysitter. Otherwise you can get in trouble with law. I'm not sure. Maybe at up to 9. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay. So in this case, so she's a little older girl. So and they must lock the door. Like it's not safe. Like you're in an apartment building, it's not safe to keep the door unlocked, right? Right. So she would have somebody like a male neighbor have a key and stuff like that. I'm not sure how practically it's going to work, but that's what it is. Maybe some elderly, like retired person. Okay, so ask him so he can come in at any time. So maybe that would be the solution. So very practical. The next one, dating couples. There is no problem in Yichud for a young man and a woman on a date who are driving in a car in the area and at times the people are around. So here's a okay, very interesting. However, if they are on a quiet street late at night, a prohibition of Yichud may definitely arise. Okay, so okay, so let's finish. They must be cognizant of the surroundings and decide together if they may remain in a car talking. Most poskim assume that if they are driving on a road with other cars as well, there is no concern that they will purposely drive in a more private area. So that's similar to what we say about ambulance. Okay, so let's do from the beginning and we're going to explain. So it says, there is no problem with Yichud with a young man and woman on a date who are driving in a car in the area and the time people are around. So meaning in a normal hours when it's light outside and let's say he pick you up 12 noon on Sunday. Okay, they drive somewhere. There is no problem, right? However, if they're on a quiet side, but we always recommend, always recommend. So that's another point. For her to get there by herself, by some other means, not him driving her. Maybe at least for a first date, for sure. Let the father drive, the brother drive, mother, like let somebody else drive her, or she can take public transportation if it's available and stuff like that. Why? Because maybe this date is not going to go so well, and how she's going to get back. So it's better to like to keep them separate. Okay. However, if they're not, if they are on a quiet street, right, late at night, that's for sure. Like if she's somewhere lives in a private house in some like quiet neighborhood, right? A prohibition of Yichud may definitely arise. Continue. They must be cognizant of their surroundings and decide together if they may remain in a car talking. So basically, it's most proper for them to go outside and stand outside and talk. They want to talk, but usually people like to sit in a car and talk. Why? Because it's more private. It's more comfy than standing outside, but it's not proper. Most poskim, okay, so we have to understand, most likely, so these people are serious, right? They're trying to get married, they're trying to see if they fit to each other and stuff like that. So most likely nothing is going to happen between them, but we're still afraid, we're still cautious. Most poskim assume that if they're driving on a road with other cars as well, there is no concern that they will purposely drive to a more private area. Okay, so if they're on a highway, you said, or not even highway, like main street where like always cars, like even in the middle of the night, so maybe it's a lesser issue, but still it is an issue. So we have to plan accordingly. So keep all of these things in mind. Continue. 3 people together. Hey, any questions before we continue? So very interesting. Yes, go ahead.
So what about elevators?
Elevators, there is no problem. There is no problem because they do not control the elevator. So elevator can stop on any floor and open the doors. It's one reason to permit elevators. And second one is because the time span it's very short. Especially today, the elevators are so fast. It's like in a few seconds you're going to the 30th floor or something. So and as we said, the minimum time for the Avera, we said 3 to 5 minutes. So for sure, nobody spends that much time like alone in the elevator for like 3 or 5 minutes. So there is no problem. But if it's possible, so like if it's only you and that woman, so I would not go to elevator, right? Me personally, right? Let her go, like, right? But if you like in some like office building, there are many people always, like unless it's very early in the morning or very late at night, right? But elevator is usually no problem. Good question. Any other questions before we continue? Okay, so now this topic that we were referring before, 3 people together. Very often there will be 3 individuals secluded in a private settings. The halacha depends on who these 3 people are. So very interesting. So you see our sages knew the psyche of the people. If there are 2 men with 1 woman, it is permitted. If men are anashim Kashering, they keep laws of separation from the matters of arayas. Okay. If the men are lax in the matters of arayas, then each of them is class and paruts, and they are not permitted to be alone with 1 woman. This is true even if there are many men who are parutzim. They are forbidden to be in a situation of yichud with 1 woman. So let's now the opinions are going to split between Ashkenazi and Sephardic. But before we go in together, so let's see. So in Gemara it's a little different. So unfortunately it's very, very pertinent to our days, right? But let's see what it says here, and we're going to explain. Very often there will be 3 individuals secluded in private area settings. So it depends, right? The halacha depends on who these people are. So 3 people, but okay, it depends. If there are 2 men and 1 woman, it is permitted if the men are anashim Kashering. Kashering means like a straight, right? There is righteous. They keep the laws of separation from arayas. So if there is Torah learners, right? If it's like righteous people, less 1 second, sorry. 1 second, sorry. Okay, so we good. I apologize. My phone was not charging. Sorry. Okay, so if they are upright people and they keep a law of separation from arayas, okay, so those upright people, so there is no problem. If men are lax in the matter of arayas, simple people, not religious people, not so strict, some more modern, right? So and I saw modern Orthodox and some even they hug women like from congregation. So you normal? So of course I didn't walk into the building, because if the rabbi like that, so like for sure it's better to pray on the street. Of course I went to another place, but just so you know, so that's the places like that, very modern, right? So in places the people like that, so yeah, they're not allowed to be two men with 1 woman together. So one more time, if the men are lax in the matter of arayas, then each of them is classed as paruts. Paruts is not a good term, not very pleasant name to be called. And they are not permitted to be alone with 1 woman, basically because they have no shame. So one of the deterrent factors was just explanation why this Torah learners would not do it. Why? Because they would be ashamed of each other. So if he would be by himself, we don't know. But if he's with somebody else, with his Habrus or somebody else, religious person, he would not do it. right? But these parutzim, they watch so much filth on the internet and in real life. So for them, it's like a show or something. So it's not going to stop them, right? This is true. Even there are many men. So that doesn't matter, 2 or more, right? Men who are, one second, perutzim. They're forbidden to be in situation of yichud with one woman. So it's 10 men like this, very modern with one woman, or not religious, so not allowed. Continue. So now is the difference between the Sephardic and Ashkenazi. Ashkenazim follow the ruling that the ordinary man is considered ish kasher, and therefore 2 men would be permitted to be alone with one woman. Okay, so it's actually a rima. Okay, so it's in his days. So Ashkenazim say, so unless you know for sure that these men are not good, basically, not goodniks, right? Not kosher people. So she would not be allowed. But if you do not know, if she does not know about them, so we assume that every man is a kosher, unless he has a kosher status, unless proven otherwise. And it's actually this halacha pertains to all of the different situations. So if you met somebody, let's say a person on the street, he looks religious, he dresses like in certain code, and he wears kippah, let's say, and you're not obligated to suspect that he's some kind of criminal. You understand? I mean, criminal against Hashem, right? So he has a stamp of kosher. Or if, for example, you go to somebody else's house and you know this person from the shul and comes to the shul, comes for prayer. You see his wife in the shul, kids, everybody attends. Not attend, doesn't matter. Home is kosher, no big screen TV. So okay, Baruch Hashem. So you assume, even with big screen TV, so you assume that the meat and all other things are kosher. You assume, unless you have reason to suspect. So, but if you don't have like a solid reason to suspect, so you can eat there is no problem. That's ish kasher definition. Okay, so by default we assume that all people are kosher by default, unless we know otherwise. However, Sephardim follow the stricter practice, forbidding even many men to be alone with one woman, since they hold that we do not have any anashim kisharim these days. And it's actually, so Sephardim follow Shulchan Aruch, right? And Ashkenazim follow Rima, Even Chazer, 225. Interesting. So Sephardim would not allow one woman to be secluded with even many men, because they say we cannot trust ourselves. But Ashkenazic tradition, so they say if it's not known otherwise, so they consider it to be kosher. Ashkenazi authority dispute whether a situation includes 2 men, one being a kosher and the other being parutz, is a problematic for yichud. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so when only one kosher and one is not so much, so maybe he would be like embarrassed in front of this kosher person. Okay, continue. So we discussed that. Okay, so one more time, Ashkenazim say every man by default is kosher based on Rama. Sephardim say today there are no people that we can trust, so don't do it. Okay, continue. The ruling that 2 men are permitted to be alone with one woman applies even when the 2 men have casual relationship with her. Say above. Okay, so meaning this, as we said, father-in-law, niece, and stuff like that. Additionally, it is permitted for 2 Jewish men who are kasher to be alone with a non-Jewish woman. Conversely, when 2 men are perutzim, it is permitted only if the door is open where people will be passing by. Okay, so let's do this paragraph and we're going to explain. Very interesting. The ruling that the two men are permitted to be alone with one woman applies even if the two men have casual relations with her. Right? I guess he's talking about Ashkenazic tradition, right? Because according to Sephardic, it's not allowed. So, okay, so even if they're like close to her, like familiar with her in a casual relationship, so they still allowed. Additionally, it is permitted for a Jewish man who is kosher to be alone with one non-Jewish woman. So, so a kosher man to be alone with non-kosher woman, not Jewish woman. Okay, because the difference between Jewish woman is not Jewish woman, so it's like if she's not married, so technically she is permitted to him, right? So he can marry her, but not Jewish women are never permitted, never ever. So, and even if somebody is married, let's say, so she can divorce, can get divorced and be permitted to him. So it's like very, very different. But this one, non-Jewish woman, is never permitted to him. So that's different, psychologically different attitude. Conversely, when the two men are perutzim, so not they watch too much TV, right? It is permitted only if the door is open where the people will be passing by. So that's it. I mean, we don't trust them. Continue. However, this is true only at the time when either of the men might fall asleep. If it is a nighttime and the circumstances are such that one might fall asleep, then three men are required to be there to permit them to be alone with a woman. So, and it's very interesting. So let's do one more time. And it's actually, I think, if I remember correctly, so when we were learning about this medical halacha, so it was one of the questions we discussed when we were talking about ambulance, right? So sometimes there are only two people come in the ambulance. I think most of the time, I mean, I'm not an expert, but last time when we had to call ambulance for someone, two people came. So the driver and another paramedic. Only two people came. So the issue would be when there are two men, let's say, and one would be the driver, like behind the glass or whatever. I'm not sure if the separation, I'm not sure. Maybe there is, I don't remember. Maybe there is no separation. And the second guy is actually in the back with this sick woman. So that was one of the questions that we discussed. So let's see. So one more time. However, this is true only at the time when neither of the men might fall asleep, meaning that they're watching each other. So it's two men and one woman. If it is nighttime and the circumstances are such that one might fall asleep, then three men are required to be there to permit them to be alone with one woman. So basically, one would sleep and these three would not sleep, basically. The woman and two men. So that's how serious this halacha is, and many people just ignore it. They go sleep in somebody's houses. It's very not proper what some people do. Okay, one man is not allowed to be in a situation of yichud with two women. One man is not allowed, and if I remember correctly, so it's. The explanation was that women have less shame, so men have more shame than women. Very interesting. I mean, in these matters. So it says one man is not allowed to be in situation of yichud with two women. It's Shulchan Aruch Even Chazer. Okay. This prohibition is rabbinic. There is great debate among the Rishonim and the Poskim whether a man is allowed to be alone with three women. Many Ashkenazi poskim are lenient, while Sephardic do not allow one man to be alone with even many women. So it's very interesting. So Sephardic authorities are more strict in this area. Very interesting. So one more time, I did not know about this Sephardic opinion until today. Very interesting. So one more time, one man is not allowed to be a situation of Yichud with two women. Okay, that's clear. One with two, no. This is prohibition is rabbinic. Okay. There is a great debate among the Rishonim of Paskim whether a man is allowed to be alone with the three women. Okay. So, what would be the case? I don't know, maybe in a hospital or something. I'm not sure. Like when there's some kind of procedure. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Many Ashkenazi Paskim are lenient, right? Meaning one man with three women. While Sepharim do not allow one man to be alone with even many women. Once again, this is only true at the time of the day when there is no suspicion that one of the women will fall asleep, right? So three women, okay. If there is such a suspicion, then there must be four women present. It's to be permitted. So meaning nobody is going to sleep the whole night. I'm not sure where the settings, but I guess it's possible. I guess it's possible when they sleep in somebody else's house, like for example, when they have some kind of simcha, some kind of celebration in the house, and of course they cannot accommodate all of the guests, and of course in some like suburbs they don't have hotels to stay in a hotel and walk to the shul or to the apartment. So people ask neighbors to put all of the guests by them, at least to sleep, not to eat, but at least to sleep. It's very interesting. It could be one of the situations, right? So if we suspect that one woman can fall asleep, so we need more women basically. Okay, so it's possible a woman that does not have the husband is somewhere I don't know on a business trip, so she and her three daughters. Okay, two daughters, let's say, the situation. If man has a casual relations with all three women, he may not be alone with them even by day. So it's very interesting. All of the casual relations. Likewise, if man has a job that consistently cares for the need of a woman, for example, he's obstetrician or sell jewelry, he may not be alone with many women. Now, this is because he might be too comfortable in his relations with them. So I mean, the men, and it's very not recommended for a man to be in a business of women's clothing. Right? That's I mean they would come or even in some stores that women attend a lot. For example, some kind of they would sell like china plates, like silverware and stuff like that. Usually women go shopping there. Men would stand like by the door and read Tehillim until so she would not spend all of the money. But this men, the salesperson, they're so friendly. They're so chirping, it's like, it's not good, basically. Okay, so let me check time quickly. Okay, so I guess we can stop here. So one piece. Any questions on what we said? Or what we did not say? Yes, go ahead.
So what would be the case with someone that went through a conversion? Is he allowed to be secluded with his mom, considering spiritually speaking, she's not his mom anymore?
Mm-hmm. So that would be an exception because there is still biological connection. So, but with the sisters and nieces, so is trying to stay away. So the mother, it would be the only exception.
So what about a woman?
So before we continue, just so we understand, if there are other people in there, for example, he's a guy went through conversion and went back to his parents' stay for a weekend, let's say. So there is no problem if father is there, or there is his brother, his sister, there, some other people are there. There would not be a problem, right? So we say only if mother-in-law mother alone, no problem. But if there are other people there, even less problem. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. No, I was gonna say that. What about a woman and her father after she converts?
I would say stay away, and it's simply because Gemara said that he technically can marry her, right? Because they're two different souls, two very very different. But even if they convert together, let's say a woman like grown up, and then she converted with her father. So after the conversion, they can marry each other. Let's say her mom died, or they got divorced or something. Of course, we're not. Halachically it is permitted, but our sages say don't do it because it mighty sign, right? The people, Gentiles would say they say even us, the Jews are supposed to be more holy, right? And look what they do. Even we would not do such a thing, but they're doing. So that's how different people, the people after conversion. You understand? So we try and if need to, so she can stay there, but better not to. Okay. Any other questions, or we answer the question from? You're welcome. Okay, so there was one question on WhatsApp, and it says if a non-kosher food can if it can damage Gentile, right? If not. Like for example, if they eat pig or they eat whatever bear, right? People eat bears, I guess, right? So is it going to damage them? So first of all, there are two separate things that right. The first thing, it's not forbidden. If they kill it anyway they want, they can shoot it, they can do shchita, whatever they just kill in the heart, whatever they do. If it's dead, they can cook it anyway. They're not obligated to remove the blood that it can eat. There is no problem. Is it recommended? It's not recommended. So because it's going to affect their soul. How? Because it says in the Torah. So part of the neshama is actually nefesh. It's in the blood. So this blood of the animal is his character, of this bear, let's say, right? So when this person eats this bear, so he gets the blood and it becomes part of him, right? Blood absorbs very fast and it goes to the brain, and these people basically not such a friendly, nice people. You understand? Who eats all of these animals, and it's like wild animals. Especially attacking animals, right? I mean, I think you can eat tiger and lion. I never try. I hope I never would. But I think it's a meat. I mean, if you cook properly, I guess you can eat. So is it proper? No, it's not proper. But is it spiritually is going to affect them? I think so. But is it allowed for them? Yes, it's allowed. So they don't do any avera when eating these animals. Okay. So the only thing for them is to kill them. Period. Kill. That's it. But you would believe when we made this clip. I hope many of you have said that about this boy that found out that he's a Jew, right? And how he found out that he's a Jew from Arab. Because Arabs said only Jews can be so merciful, and there's so many hatred comments there were, and some of this so insulting, some we have to delete them. So other videos that we make clips, people reacted, like it, do not like it, but this was the most provoked the biggest reaction. Because why? Because people, they eat all of this. I'm talking about. Many of them are Jews, actually, and you can see by the writing style, the self-hating Jews, right? They call us Nazis. So they say, like, we only say that the guy is the Jew is a merciful person, and then he wants and then he went to learn to yeshiva, what else Torah says. So they continue the thought, this self-hating Jews, and they say that's the next thing you're going to say, that they're the best, the Jews are the best, and the next thing you're going to build concentration camp, and you start killing humanity. That's what they say. You understand? And one of the reasons, the way I see it, one of the reasons is because they eat all of the garbage foods, especially Jews. So this non-kosher food, is it going to affect a lot of non-Jewish neshama? I don't think so. I mean, it's going to affect, but not as much as a Jew. For a Jew, it's a killer. He eats the non-kosher food. Food like we had another clip that chicken with blood, right? Regular chicken, you buy non-kosher chicken, it's equal to pig. What's the difference? There is no difference. I mean, difference is this is forbidden by one prohibition, this forbidden by another prohibition. There is no difference. So that's affect especially Jews. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Any topic?
So, Rabbi, for a Jew to cleanse his, let's say a Jew is commencing his Shiur process. So for him to start commencing his Shiur process, that's where he would have to start, is eating kosher.
Yes, 100%. And the best proof, as I heard it from Rabbi Mizrachi Shlita, right? He said this many times when people come to seminar, right? And first, like sometimes just unfortunately, I'm revealing you the secret. Sometimes you have to bribe people and pay them money to come to the 4 stars hotel and all the meals and free room and pool and this and that, all of the amenities like free just for them to come, unfortunately, right? So and these people, they're not very interested, but since they cannot afford vacation anyway, so they say, why don't we come to these free seminars? And okay, and there is a rabbi, he's going to speak, okay, I'm going to listen whatever he's going to say, but I'm going to enjoy the food and atmosphere, and they're going to be like a concert, like a muktzeh Shabbos, stuff like that, very interesting activities for the kids. And he said many times that people will come very uninterested on Friday, like you can check in like afternoon or something on Friday, right? And they would eat stuff like that. Saturday, on Sunday, they would dance with the rabbi on the stage. So he said, what happened? And he said it's not. Of course, the Torah affect people, but you also have to remember that it takes 3 days for a blood to renew itself, right? Completely. So when this garbage blood, after he's eating or he eating whatever they almost it's like it's not 3 complete days, but let's say 2.5 days, right? They allowed to stay by Sunday, like 5 p.m. or something, like very late on Sunday, right? So let's say 2.5 days. So most of the blood was changed, and it's a different person. So that's the first thing that we ask people who wants to do the Shiur, start keeping eating kosher. Even though do not change utensil, do not kosher kitchen. It's whatever we learn in a kosher kitchen class is very, very important. But when somebody is trying to do on their way to the Shiur, we don't mention one thing from that book. One thing we don't mention. I mean, maybe meat and milk, but like in some like high level halacha, no details. You understand why? Because when a person starts eating kosher, it's going to cleanse his soul, and he would be able to absorb. And I see that like we had the students, and this famous lawyer, was right. He was not keeping kosher, and he was falling asleep. He could not keep up. Like he would go to the courtroom and fight and win big cases. Top guy, the sharp guy, but the story he could not keep up. Why? Because of this non-kosher food, tainted the soul. Right? It's not like he wants to sleep. It's tainted soul. Yeah. Okay. What else? Any other questions?
Good enough.
Yes. Go Go ahead.
So what happened to the mitzvot that someone that converted performed before it? Like, do they still count, or they're like just blanks?
Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you very much. First of all, as we said, when a person can convert, he gets a new neshama. So whatever he did before is gone basically. On one hand, on another hand, it's also good. For example, if somebody owned money, right? So he was one person, right? And then he was Peter, let's say, right? I hope nobody's name is Peter here. So his name were Paul or Peter, right? And now he became Abraham, right? So Peter owned money to somebody. He was not such a clean person, but now Abraham is a different person. So of course we say he's not obligated to return of the loans because it's not him that took the loans, but we say it's proper, absolutely proper, and very, 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 very recommended to do so. Like for example, so I placed one order online, and then something went wrong. I placed again, but I thought that first that I tried to cancel the first order. It was some error, so I thought it was canceled. It says the cancellation request was sent, and the next day I placed order for the same item. That's what I wanted anyway, right? And they sent me confirmation that actually the first order was shipped. So I called this company. It's actually Home Depot, right? So I asked them, please cancel my first order. They understood the second order. Say no problem. I mean, I just placed it, and it was, this item was on sale, right? It was like half a price or like clearance or whatever, right? So this lady was typing, and she said, okay, so you got yourself this full amount, and then she gave me the price. I said, thank you very much, but that's not what I paid. And she said, it took me a minute to explain that it was on sale. I pay only this price. And she was so amazed. She said, wow, I cannot believe. She said, most of the people would keep quiet, would not mention. I said, I'm a Jew and I'm a religious Jew. And she started explaining it was big Kiddush Hashem. She blessed me. I blessed her, this lady. Right. So it's very, very important to show that because I'm a Jew, because I follow the rules of God, that's what I do. You understand? And even give them extra. Like I give them compliments. I left a very good review to this lady, but she was so amazed, and she said, she said, after we hang up, I'm going to tell my supervisor, because last week there are a few people who tried to take advantage, unfortunately, of her and her team, and do all of these shady deals, right? I don't want your money. You give me a favor. You cancel the second order. So that's good. That's good. Baruch Hashem. So that's so part of the question, part of the answer. It's a different person. It's a different person. But on another hand, so some people complain that conversion it's taking a very long time. So Rabbi Reuven Shlita explained it beautifully. He said, look, you're going to do it. You're planning to do it anyway, right? So you're planning to do it anyway till the rest of your life. So continue doing it. Like when Hashem have mercy on you. So it's going to happen. So I have students in one country, and it's a very poor country. Many people are poor, and these people, especially this couple, they were trying to convert for 9+ years until I met them, and unfortunately, right? It's all of this. And they do not have money, and that Beis Din wants money like they live in US, minimum. Even more, even in US, if you go through Beezrat Hashem, it's we have special discount. It's going to be even cheaper than they wanted this third world country. You understand? So, and they said, well, what to do if we don't have money? I said, what can you do? So continue doing whatever you're doing, since you're going to plan to do it anyway. And when Hashem has mercy, so He's going to send you the opportunity, right? So even though the mitzvahs lost in some way, but on another hand, you have a good training. Now you're ready, right? Now a person ready. He's been doing it for so long, and he's ready. He moves in. So I always scared when people that they learn like superficially, like even cover the basic of the basic of the base superficially, and they want to convert and go to the Jew. Like from the day one, from first Shabbos, you're going to be Mechal Shabbos. Why do you need that? Why do you need that? Take your time. Take another 6 months or 1 year, whatever time you need. Okay, that's the answer. Okay. Any other questions? Any topic?
Rabbi.
Yes.
Okay, so one thing that yesterday I went to go out and eat, and I never go out and eat. When I go out to eat, I usually bring my food home, but I was with my brother. I wanted to share with him, and then we went and got some food, and then there was this restaurant. We ate outside because I didn't want to eat inside because there's no space, and I didn't want to hear any music or anything like that. So we went outside, and it's a public area, and I went there. We ate. It was where I was eating was a cheese pizza, and then we sat in an area, and then out of nowhere, we're already done eating, but then someone came outside and says, "Hey, that's a meat area." So my heart fell. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." I really didn't know because there's no sign saying, "Oh, this is from this restaurant," and then this side is from this restaurant. So what happens? What do I do in that moment? I don't know, because I don't know if it's okay or if it's just not proper, because nobody told me anything. Nobody from inside that restaurant. Mm-hmm. It was just the guy from the other side of the restaurant that told me. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's much, not much what you can do. I mean, it was their responsibility to mark the area and say this belongs to this pizzeria and this belongs to this steakhouse. I mean, it's their responsibility. I would not know myself also. I mean, on another hand, did we make something non-kosher? No, we did not make it. Was everything was cold, everything was on a plate, so it was basically there is no technical issue. It's not like you put something on a table itself, and even if you did, I mean, it still that does not make any difference. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions? Any topic? We'll stop here. Okay. No problem. No questions. Okay. So let's stop here then. Tomorrow we continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Please join us 9 p.m. Thank you very much and good night.